Sergeant John Lebecki.
Well, it is hot. I can tell you, I've been in a lot hotter. If you would have told me 11, 12 years ago that I'd be standing on the South Carolina State Capitol steps discussing legalizing medical marijuana, probably would have thought you'd smoke some of it yourself. Growing up, my brother, he started shooting heroin at 12. I know how recreational use and abuse can destroy a family. I never used marijuana in high school. I left for Marine Corps boot camp 9 days after I graduated from high school, spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, had a lot of fun. I got out, and then I saw my country attacked on 9/11. I watched the towers fall, and I went into the Army. And in September of 2005, I strapped these boots here on, and I went to Iraq. And I spent 12 months there doing what my country asked of me, defending my constitutional rights, and trying to keep everybody here safe. And then I came home, and I knew something wasn't right. My medic knew something wasn't right while I was there. Turns out that I came back with brain injury, and I came back with PTSD from everything I did, everything I saw, everything I experienced over 12 months facing evil. I came home November 22nd, 2006. On Christmas Eve, 2006, I was sitting in a bar, and I heard church bells, and I knew that's where I needed to go because I was in a real bad place. And I went, with tears streaming down my face, and I was told they were full. Come back tomorrow. It was midnight mass after all, but. So I went and I sat on the War Memorial in downtown Raleigh for about an hour, trying to figure out whether to step into traffic or do something else. And I did do something else. I went to Womack Army Medical Center, into the ER. I told them point blank that I wanted to end my life. They gave me 6 Xanax, told me to come back after the holiday. So I went home, I loaded my Beretta 9mm, I put it to my temple, and I pulled the trigger. 23 veterans every day do the same thing. They weren't lucky like I was. The gun didn't jam for them. They're no longer here. I came up here and testified before the House on the House legislation about 2 weeks ago. Since then, 330 veterans have lost their lives, 7 in South Carolina. We need to stop this. On a fateful day in 2009, I had a friend of mine, was recently retired from the military, medically, offer me marijuana. Completely illegal. I was living in North Carolina. I was at the end of my rope. I was taking 32 pills a day prescribed by the VA that didn't work, that caused even further suicidal ideation. And we're talking not every now and then, daily, every day, multiple times a day. And I figured, why not? And I smoked it. And I noticed something the next day. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to kill myself. It never even popped into my head. And about 2-3 days later, everything came back. So I went and I got more. By this time, I had 4 suicide attempts that should have been successful, but for whatever reason, were not. So I used it quite regularly. Then I met my now wife, and I met my stepson, her son, and almost everybody's testimony is about a child. Mine is too. But my child's healthy, and I'm blessed every day for that. This morning, he graduated from the 6th grade. He's 12 years old. And I came here instead to testify, because this is important, because without this medication, I may not be here for his 7th grade graduation. I may not be here for his high school graduation, or his college graduation, or to see him fall in love and get married like I did. I'm asking for something that is simple. I want to live. This is what makes it possible. I've tried everything else. Nothing else works. And there are people that object to this for various reasons. To the legislators and to the law enforcement of this state that object to this legislation, I issue you a challenge. And it's simple. Should I lose my battle and take my life, are they willing to take the flag off my casket, give it to my son, tell him I could be saved, but they didn't think it was a good idea? Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Lebecki. I now have the honor to introduce one of our bravest and boldest advocates in this fight. Jaden Kozak, please come up and tell us a little bit about your story.
Good afternoon. My name is Jaden Kozak. I'm a 5th grader at Chapin Elementary School. I'm representing my little sister, Sophia Kozak, or some of you know her by Sophia's voice. Sophia is 7 years old and in the 1st grade at Chapin Elementary. As a sibling to someone with cerebral palsy and epilepsy, I feel sometimes siblings get excluded and our opinions get lost. The past 7 years have been frustrating and sometimes very scary. Whenever I see my sister having seizures, I don't even know how to react, and it feels like I'm frozen in time. I have seen my sister stop breathing, turn purple, and watch my aunt give her CPR. That is something that I'll never be able to forget. Before she started CBD oil in October, she would have hundreds of seizures every day. She would have so many seizures that it was very difficult to be her big brother. She was too sick, too tired at doctor's appointments or with her therapist. I tried. Bring up here. Yeah. Look at my sister now. She's able to walk. Before the CBD oil, she couldn't walk up those stairs. She wasn't smiling. Now look at her. She's joyful. She wants to come up here with her big brother. Look at her now. She's joyful. She has a smile on her face. Before then, you couldn't even see anything. It was blank. I tried reading, I tried puzzles, I tried everything I could. I could not make her sit. I don't have to constantly worry about her having seizures. Since she's on that CBD oil, she hasn't had so many seizures. I've heard her say my name as she says Bubba or JJ. Before that, she wouldn't even say anything. I have a new nightly routine with my sister. She comes into my bedroom, she gets a book or two, and she sits there while I read the book to her. She sits there. Before that, she couldn't even sit still. She'd get up and walk out. And she actually stood there and I stood there and cuddled with me. She actually stood there. She's communicating more than ever. She is babbling. She's not talking, okay? But she is babbling. Before that, she wasn't even babbling. She's able to interact with me. I throw a ball back, I throw a ball to her, and she throws it back to me. I kick a ball to her, she kicks it back. I roll it to her, she rolls it back. She actually has the mobility to interact with me. She's walking more and getting stronger than ever. She's actually able to throw a football with me. Before, she couldn't even throw. Now she is. I can actually go more places too. She is walking more because that CBD oil. That means I can go more places. She can feed herself. Before, my mom had to feed her. She could feed herself. She could pick up a spoon or a fork and stab a piece of chicken or steak and eat it. And I met my sister 6 months ago, and I thank God every day. And she is joyful every day. She's not staring in blank. She's joyful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaden. That was fantastic. You're such a great brother. I don't have any brothers, but if I did, will you be my brother? Because I don't have any, and I need one like you, man. We're gonna bring Stacy up here next. I can't pronounce her last name because I'm not Italian. But she's gonna be speaking for us.
Hi, how are you? My name is Stacy Guarneri, and I'm here also for my daughter, Sophia. And hearing you speak as a sibling, so much of what you said, I can relate to and maybe hope for one day that my Sophia could talk. She has autism, and Sophia,
no, it's all right.
Sophia can't
I'll come
speak.
back.
And we really, as a family, can't even leave our house. I mean, Sophia, doesn't have friends. She bites herself. She's got bruises. She bangs her head. Just recently, all of our care attendants that we had all had to leave because nobody can handle Sophia. So basically, we're like prisoners, I call it, in our home. We don't really leave to go anywhere because you really can't take Sophia out because you don't know what's gonna happen. And at one point in time, I remember my husband saying, you know, we should just go in the garage and turn the car on. He's like, this is just no way to live. And every day we get up and we just try to keep positive. I just say, let's just live for the day and not think about the future. And Sophia, just like everyone else, has been on countless medications, which makes me so upset. We've traveled across the country to see doctors in Texas, in Florida. We've done experimental stuff. We've probably spent over $100,000. She sits in an oxygen chamber 2 hours a night, and nothing is helping. She's been put on medications that made her a zombie, so she's now off of everything. Medications that aren't tested for, she was 4 or 5 at the time, Namenda, which is not meant for a child, but it's okay for a doctor to give Sophia medication that's meant for someone 60 years old. No one seems to have a problem with that. But for some reason, when you say the word marijuana, people just think of something negative. And I don't understand when it could be so positive to a family and to help people. You know, all I want to do is just, I don't know, just hear her talk. Sometimes I just talk to her and I'm like, just please talk. And it's sad. I mean, we have to lock her room at night because she will leave. The whole house is locked up with bolts. And she's only 7, but she's severely strong. And putting Sophia away is not an option. here's a picture of her right here. She's the cutest thing. And I don't understand how anyone in any of these buildings can hear all these stories and say, you know what, it's a bad thing. Well, maybe they just need to meet, you know, everybody who needs the help, and maybe they'll open their eyes. And that's really all I have to say. And Senator Davis, I think, is just amazing. I look around here and he's like practically the only one in the suit just standing up, when I'm sure there's hundreds of people in these buildings that could also stand up. And it's a shame that they don't. And that's the saddest part. That to me is the saddest thing. If you ever came in my house, or you've seen us in a restaurant, you know, people look at us, and I don't have kind of a bad temper. And I'll be in the grocery store and Sophia will be ripping up the food like yogurt as we go through, and they'll look at me. I said, how many times do I have to tell you? Autism. Or she'll be in a cart. My husband's like, she's too big to be in a shopping cart. And last week, I couldn't even walk for 2 weeks because I've got to pick up this child that's huge and put them in a shopping cart because there's no way to take her out without being contained. And maybe one day that can all change, you know, I just hope. Thank you.